host of a TV series called Player Attack. We're on... Oh! Thank you. We're on TV on Friday nights on Foxtel on Aurora. We talk about video games and pop culture and all that sort of stuff. However, today we're not here to talk about me. We are here to talk about The Witcher 3. And can I just get a show of hands of how many people here have actually played The Witcher 3? How many of you have finished it? Oh, that's actually not bad. So it is my very, very great pleasure to introduce Matt, who we've been practicing saying his name. I'm very Australian, he is very Polish, and so he's going to laugh at me. He gave me an 8 out of 10 for my pronunciation earlier. So I will introduce Mateusz Tomaszkiewicz, lead quest designer on The Witcher 3.
Thank you for introduction. You did pretty well with the name. Thank you. So, hi everyone. Thank you for coming. I would like to thank the organizers for having me here. It's great to be here. PAX is a great event. I enjoyed it a lot. So, I will talk a little bit about how we design quests, how we did it on The Witcher 3. Basically, the process for our quests evolved during the production. It evolves during our projects as well. But I'm going to describe it in general for you how it used to look like for The Witcher 3. I will show you some examples of the stages of the quests. I will also describe in general what the quest design is about and what are the connections between the departments in our company. So how does it work in terms of when each department can start working in context of the quests. But before we get to this, I will play one thing for you so you can get in the Witcher mood. Okay, so Butcher mood? No? So I assume everyone is in Butcher mood now? Yeah, good, cool. So before we start going through the process of quest design, let's ask a question. What is a quest design? The answer might seem kind of obvious, but it's not that simple. Basically, what we have to do as quest designers, we have to set the goals for the players for the entire game. We have to design all the content that has to convey stories. It doesn't have to be necessarily quests. It's also things like bandits that you encounter try to stop you and take a toll on a bridge. It can be a crook that wants to extort money from you. So basically everything that involves dialogues, everything that involves storytelling. We have to design it and we have to implement it in the game engine. We have a special editor for it. We're working on the Red Kit. And basically, we have to design all of it in a way that it will be enjoyable and that you will have fun while playing it, obviously. Obviously, when we are working on it, we have to cooperate with different departments, like character artists, like concept art, like locations, like cutscenes, and so on. We have to request assets from these people, and we have to make sure that these assets convey the story and they fit in the story that we have designed. So when we start working on a quest, we first go through paper design, then we do a draft of the quests, then we have quest beta and quest complete content. And basically, this diagram shows how it goes, and the lead reviews that occur throughout the whole process. They are performed by our head of the studio, by our game director and leads. They are deploying the whole game on every step of this process, and every quest and every bit of content. And sometimes they request some changes. Sometimes they are small. Sometimes we have to go back to paper design. And these red arrows above the diagram show that. Sometimes we have to scrap even complete quests that had all the assets, and we have to be creative about what we do with these assets later on, not to lose them. Obviously, it's a big pressure on us because every department depends on the designs we do, which I will talk more about on the next slides. So the first step is paper design, and the things that we do at this stage are short, like 2-3 sentence ideas, what the quests will be about. Basically, designers prepare like 20 or 30 of those, and they just bring them to me, and basically, I have to select the ones that have potential to be good. Later on, when we pick some, they have to write long scenarios for these. And also, we have some documents that are not per se descriptions of quests, but are, for example, diagrams of the choices in the entire game, descriptions for characters, and things like these. So other documents that are helping us throughout the production. So these are examples of quest pitches that have been accepted. These are 2 quests that we actually, made it to the game. Basically, like you can see, those are very short, and they are supposed to give us a general idea about what what is supposed to be cool in this quest, or something that we can build on. Long scenario looks like this, more or less. Sorry for Polish. I know, but I just made the screenshot so you can see how the structure of such a document looks like. Those are very simple, as you can see. At this stage, we can list all the events in chronological order. We can list the choices, and we can list the cutscenes, because at this point, we are able to tell from our experience what is doable on gameplay and in the game engine and what has to be done as a cutscene. So the main goals at this stage are filtering bad ideas, and believe me, every designer, believe me that every designer thinks that his or her ideas are, awesome. And, I do that too. I also lose, I'm not, objective sometimes about my ideas, and until they are confronted with other people, only then we can tell what has potential to be good or interesting. And it's not always like these pitches are really awesome. They are like maybe, maybe something interesting in them. But basically, what is very important is to think about, does it have a potential to be good if we work on it? Also, at this stage, we are giving other departments things to do. Concept artists can start working while as we accept a quest document. The locations department can prepare those very rough drafts of the locations for us, so we can start working on them later on. Cutscenes guys can start working on scenarios for cutscenes, so these details, descriptions of how they will go. And of course, the sounds department can start working on gathering material for the entire quest. So after we are done with this stage, we can move on to doing an implementation draft for a quest. And it is a very simple quest. It looks bad most of the time. And it is because it doesn't have any assets. We have only some basic placeholder assets. It doesn't have any most basic systems. I think the first quests we were doing for Witcher 3, the first drafts, they had only NPCs that could spawn and that could talk. They couldn't even walk. So you can imagine how much imagination we have to use to actually get a feeling if this quest has any potential to be good. So here you have some exclusive content from the new expansion. Basically, that's more or less how it looks at the earliest stage in the draft. So these markers are used to define where the characters can spawn and work and walk and so on. And the triggers are used to launch some specific events. And as you can see, it's very rough. It's very hard to imagine how it looked like later on. The goals for this stage are basically checking if the initial idea holds up. The idea we thought on the paper looks good and it has potential to be a cool quest. And very often, after we implement a quest, we can tell that, for example, there is too much dialogue in it. There is not enough space for, let's say, combat or other kinds of gameplay. And very often we change the quests completely at this stage. And this is actually a good moment to change those because it's not that expensive yet at this point. Basically, at this stage, not many assets are done, so it doesn't cost us much. We just have to go back to paper. But after, if we like a quest draft, if we played it and we think it's okay, the other departments can start rewrite the dialogues, which we first have written in a very basic form. So the writing team has stuff to do. After they complete their work, people that set up the dialogues can start their work. Basically, the first versions of dialogues that we implement, they very often don't even have cameras, so you're not able to tell for sure who is talking even. So these guys have to sit down and set it up, so we're able to actually later on play the game and check if it's all proper. Gameplay scripting, and what I mean by this are the systems that are custom for quests. Like, you might remember the quest with the Baron, the Bloody Baron. There is a moment when he carries a botchling, and basically this is a custom system. We don't have characters carrying another characters in the game per se. So we had to request it, and the gameplay department had to script it for us so we could have it in game. Music, basically, when we have completed drafts, basically we are able to tell how many tracks, different tracks we will need and how many different teams we'll need for quests. And special effects, so explosions, magic, and stuff like that. So when we are happy with the draft, we can move on to quest beta stage. And basically, at this stage, we are striving to implement all the assets in the quest. And the quest that achieves that can be called a quest beta quest. Basically, most systems at this stage should be working. So we should have combat, we should have crafting, we should have all the elements that are needed in order to feel if this quest is cool or not, and if it plays well. And also, in contrary to the implementation draft, which we are playing mostly quest by quest, so basically we just launch it from a separate definition. When we are playing beta quests, we are playing the game as a whole thing. So basically the quests are connected. We can see are there any issues in between quests, are there any issues in logic, and so on. Basically, like you can see, this is Novigrad, already with buildings and all, and these dots that you can see in there are our quest markers. This is the environment we have to work on quest beta stage. As you can see, with all the content in, it's very hard to find stuff sometimes. And I have filtered most of our stuff out of this picture, because once we had the triggers and everything, you couldn't see anything at all. But we somehow managed. Somehow quest designers, every one of them knows where their stuff is, and they are able to, figure out this chaos. And basically, like I said, the most important things are implementing all assets, fixing issues that might come out while playing the whole game. So big plot holes, issues in between quests, things like characters mentioning some characters that died in different quests, things like these. We are able to check the pacing of the entire game at this stage. So basically, we check if the player is engaged at the steps that we wanted them to be engaged. Do they feel the drive to complete next quests? Do they get distracted by side quests too much? And basically, also, we have to make sure that everything is correct in dialogues, because this is the last moment when we can do this before sending dialogues to recordings. And actually, voiceovers for the game is one of the most expensive things in the whole production. After we do this, we almost cannot change them. We have to do additional recording sessions if we want to, or we might try to glue up some lines, to make some sense, but that's the worst option possible. But we sometimes do it if we have to. So after the quest gets all the assets, we reach content complete stage. And basically this is very self-explanatory. Everything is in, all voiceovers, all systems, everything. And what we are focusing on this stage is bug fix. And basically, this is a stage that goes through even after release of the game, because as you know, we release a lot of patches, we release the expansions and so on. And basically, there is a lot of things that we need to fix. Obviously, a lot of them slip into the game. Sometimes we need to be, not sometimes, we need to be extra careful not to break stuff while we are fixing stuff. This example is one of my favorites. This is actual exchange from our work email. It's, yeah. we had a lot of fun with this one. Yeah, we just saved it so the programmers, might remember. But it's a huge game, and things slip. We need to be extra careful. Things like these. But hopefully, the longer is the period for polishing the quest, the sooner we get it to content complete level, the bigger the chance that we might ship it in a quality like this.
Greetings, Geralt. Remember me? We met in White Orchard. I helped you find Yellowstone. It seems you need my help again. Do you want my help? It's a deal. Let me tell you a story. It's about a man, worse than most. A man who refuses to pay his debts.
Well struck, Witcher. But perhaps you'd care to tell me why you meddled in a matter not yours. You're immortal. Indeed. But it's not what folk imagine. Not dying does not mean eternally living your life to the full. So it's a curse. You must be careful what you wish for there are consequences.
You need to get into the vault. We break in, each take what we need. You one I can count on.
Why do you wish to see the Lady of the House?
See how I've reeled her in? Now don't fuck this up.
So this is it. This is a Quest production process in a nutshell. Thank you for coming. I hope that you found it interesting. And now we can get to questions and answers. Thank you.
Now I have to rely on this microphone because I don't have the trendy Madonna headset going on. So I can't see you guys very well, so you have to make yourselves really obvious if you have questions for Matt that we can get him to answer. There are a couple of enforcers running around who will come and stick a microphone in your face. I can see there is one guy here. Yes, you're looking around because you're not sure if it's you.
Hi. So you were talking a lot about the technical aspects of the quest. One thing I'm really interested in is the more narrative, because that's one reason I love The Witcher 3 is how well the narrative can actually change throughout the whole game. Like side quests can impact the main quests, and I just wanted more about the process of how you go about writing that mutable and interactive narrative.
Sure. Okay, so in general, when we start with a quest, if it's a main quest, most of the time we get a very rough draft from the writers, what they want the quest to be about. And it's more of a general description of what the idea for the quest is. If it's a side quest, then most of the time the idea comes from the quest designers. Sometimes if we do not like some idea that we get from the writers, we discuss with them and we change them. I would say it goes both ways, because if they don't like something we design from the scratch, they also tell us, and we are very open for dialogue, and there is a lot of back and forth. And Yeah, later on when they work on the scenario, there is a writer and there is a quest designer, both assigned to the quest, and they do a lot of discussing. They discuss the ideas with me, with the lead writer, and you know, very often if there is some issue that they have issues with overcoming, we are doing brainstorms together. Sometimes we're doing brainstorms in a quest team as a whole. Sometimes, you know, it depends on the situation, really. And I think what I find most interesting about this process is if we stumble upon some, you know, interesting issues that we need to overcome, and we sit down together and we are coming up with solutions for this. This is something that I always enjoyed, and yeah, it's a big part of this job.
Next question. Yep.
Thank you. Case from anothercastle.com. Just wanted to know, in The Witcher, you often are faced with a lot of choices. Sometimes it's a bit ambiguous as to what the motivations are of the characters, choosing one thing or another. I often find myself facing a lot of regret in the decisions that I make. I think I'm making the right choice when in some cases it's going the opposite way. What I would like to know is, do you have any sense by surveying data or otherwise in terms of an overview of what players are choosing in the game, and does that, if so, does that help you look into quest design into the future?
So first of all, the feeling you had, that's by design. And regarding your question regarding the stats, we don't have any tool for it. Basically, we checked it on the playtests, how the QA was playing, and we were gathering data like this. For The Witcher 2, we had achievements that basically we could tell who chose Yorvev path or Roach path. But for Witcher 3, we didn't do anything like this. I think we gather most of our data from reading forums, from watching Let's Plays, and just, you know, general tendencies. I know it's not statistically accurate, obviously, but we have some overview of how people were playing the game.
I find it fascinating that, as a developer, that you then watch the Let's Plays that
I love them.
People playing the game.
Yeah, I love them because, you know, we very rarely get to see like these first raw reactions to playing our game. Because when we get feedback from QA, for example, it's already processed, you know. They have to rewrite it in a way that, you know, they don't want to insult us and so on, and, you know, I understand that. And, you know, it's different. Basically, it's more pure, honest feedback. And it's cool also to, you know, to see what's in people's heads when they are playing and commenting and, like, noticing things that we didn't notice when we were thinking about it, you know. So, yeah, I love it.
So, yeah, so let that be a warning to you guys who are, you know, doing YouTubing and stuff.
I'm watching your videos.
Next question. There are two down here. Also, I'm really sorry, guys, on sort of those 2/3 of the room. I can only really see these ones, so, you know, wave. Make it really obvious.
So I recently played through the expansion, and it was really, really fun. I think some of the quest design, no spoilers, I won't spoil. But one of the quests, one of the first quests is just, I've never laughed so much in The Witcher. And I wonder, is there a quest that you or the team got together to design that is either your favorite quest or a quest that you really wanted to put that kind of humor into it?
Mm-hmm. I think a quest like the one you're mentioning, I think the quest I liked the most was the one in Kermoren, when the Witchers got to sit back together and, you know, get drunk and do silly stuff. We had a lot of fun with it, you know, in the office, and I remember people coming into the reviews of the game when, you know, the leads were playing, and they were coming in just to see and laugh with them. It was awesome. And yeah, I think this one.
We have actually just decided that we are going to use our enforcers smarter, and so people on this side, there is enforcers who will run around, and so I'll just call to them to come and pick you, so you don't have to get my attention, you have to get their attention. So, next question. Up the back. Wow, I would never have seen you. Thank you, Enforcers.
So I guess the question is, for world building, the process of that, do you build the world and then try and fill it out, or is it sort of a collaboration between, we have this mission, we have to build this castle and fill it up, or, you know, something like that?
I'd say it depends, you know, because for the main quest, for example, we just requested some specific places, and the location guys would do them for us. For many side quests as well, but sometimes we are very open to like initiative of people, and sometimes level designers and level artists, they wanted to put something in, like some specific castle, because I don't know, it looked nice in some panorama they wanted to have and so on, and they would ask us, can we do something cool in there, you know, because there is this awesome castle. And yeah, we were like, sure, why not? It's cool, awesome. So yeah, it goes both ways. Most of the time, if it's very important for the storyline, we request it. For side quests, it very often occurred that they did something and we were creative about how to use this place.
Have you actually noticed that there is a girl sitting over there?
Yeah, I think we met the other day. Yeah.
That's very cool. Next question, please, from this side.
Hi. So, Witcher being a worldwide phenomenon in different languages, have you ever had to try to change or alter content because the language just didn't fit the quest line?
By language, you mean swear words or? Oh, okay, I see, I get you. Basically, obviously, the things that are written in Polish, they are referring a lot to Polish culture and, you know, Polish politics and stuff like this. And it wouldn't make much sense to keep it in the other language versions. But we have people that are not as much just translating the dialogues, they are more adapting them to a specific language. So, for example, for the English version, we have this really talented guy who used to live in the US for a very long time. He grew up in there, so he's practically a native speaker. And he knows, he's Polish, so he obviously knows Polish as well. So what he does, he takes the dialogues that were written in Polish, and he tries to keep the same meaning, more or less, of the dialogues, because it has to have the same meaning, but change the references to be referring to Western, you know, like pop culture or, I don't know, memes and stuff like this, you know. So it is being rewritten, so to speak. The whole game is being rewritten creatively, not just translated. So I'd say not as much it loses something in translation, it gains something else in translation.
Next question from this side.
Hi there. I was just wondering if there was any scope for you to develop quests from the books, even though chronologically the story follows the end of the trilogy. So, for example, 3 Jackdaw and the Gold Dragon, you know, that would be a really cool quest to see in the game.
Well, basically we are heavily inspired by the books. Obviously, we are all fans of the books. We are all fans of the books, and almost everyone at the office read it, and you know, we all dreamt of using these characters that we read about and, you know, continuing on their stories and saying something new about them and so on. And yeah, definitely, in some cases we do that. Like, we have a bunch of characters from the books in the game. Like, the sole fact that we use the Yennefer and Ciri is, you know, is showing this. And I think in the future, like the second expansion, we will be also continuing this. You know, so you can expect to meet some characters that you read about if you read the books.
Hello. There we go. So what was, you talked a lot about, so it's quite an iterative process, and there were quite a things that were cut that weren't, you know, interesting. What was one of your favorite things that didn't end up actually making it all the way in?
It's not even as much they were not interesting. It's sometimes that basically when we decide to change something in the story, like in the general story, some things no longer fit. And yeah, there was a lot of stuff like this. There was this quest on Skellige late on in the game that you had to basically, Geralt took an appearance of a Wild Hunt soldier. It was a spell, an illusion. And basically you had to be very careful when you were dealing with them, not to, blow your cover, because you would get killed, obviously. And you got to interact with the main antagonist more. You got to learn more about the Wild Hunt and so on. And I think it would be very good to have this in-game. But unfortunately, like I said, after we have decided to change the story, in some places it no longer fit, we had to cut it. And yeah, I mean, I think that would be something that I regret the most. There are other things we have cut that I liked because they were fun, but not as, I'd say, meaningful. Yeah.
Next question from this side.
Hi there. One of the biggest problems that I had with The Witcher 3 was that you got into certain situations where you had the choice to either walk away, turn a blind eye, get bribed out, or kill the people. And I felt that sometimes I just wanted to knock them out instead. So how did that go for you guys? Just having the either like helping them out and turn away, or just kill them instead, because I felt sometimes I just had to kill them because I didn't like what they were doing, but I felt like I should just knock them out and bring them to somewhere else instead.
I think, I'm not sure which exactly you're referring to, but we were discussing cases like these a lot. There are moments in the game when we felt that Geralt shouldn't kill some specific people, and it was an issue for us because Geralt from the books wouldn't, get into killing people like this. And basically, in some cases, we tried to hide it with a fact, like, I don't know, we gave him a wooden sword in a quest. The context of the quest forced it. Or basically, those people were not dying. They were like, like unconscious, and they were getting up on the scene later on, so you could see you didn't actually kill them. I think the biggest issue with this was that we didn't have any special mechanism for it, because if we would like to do it properly, like you're suggesting, I think we should need some, overall mechanism that we could use for this. Because it wouldn't be nice if it would be just an option in dialogue, like, knock them out. It should be something more gameplay-like, but we didn't have anything for it, and probably wouldn't have time to develop such a feature. But yeah, in the future, maybe. I don't know.
This side.
I just wanted to ask about the sort of maintaining the mood and personality of the game across so many different minds that come together to work on designing quests, designing the main storyline, designing side quests, and how they all work together. How do you maintain mood and tone of the world and personality of the characters across such a wide team?
It's very difficult. It's very difficult because, as you might expect, different people think in different ways, and we have also people from many different nationalities working in our studio and design department. So they also get, totally different ideas because they come from different cultures. What I'd say is important is that everyone reads the books, every designer reads the books, and they, maybe not all of them, but enough so they can understand what is the Witcher vibe, what is the general mood, and how to recreate it in the game. But obviously that's not enough. There needs to be a lot of supervision from side of the leads, from side of the game director, and that's actually one of the reasons why we do these game reviews, so we can play through the whole game and we can tell, okay, this quest doesn't feel like The Witcher, we need to do something about it. So this is something that is really important for the leads and for the game director.
Next question, please, from this side.
Hi. First of all, I just want to say thank you for the ethos and the productivity of CD Projekt Red in terms of all of the patches that have come out and all of the free DLC, just making your game better and better basically every week. I'm so impressed by that. And just quickly going back to the conversation of questing, were you guys inspired by, or do you guys play a lot of like tabletop role-playing games? And did anyone in the team have any say on the Witcher tabletop game that's coming out next year?
Sorry, could you wave, because I totally don't know where you
Hi.
are. Oh, here. Okay, great. So could you repeat the second part of the question?
Just about the tabletop role-playing game that's coming out next year. Did anyone in CD Projekt Red have a sort of say or a part in that?
Oh, yes. I mean, we cooperate closely with guys that are doing it. Basically, they came up to us a few times, and we were discussing with them their ideas. So it's still true to the lore. It's true to the things that we designed. They have a lot of creative freedom with it as well. I think it will be cool, but you'll have to check for yourself, yeah. That's how our cooperation looks like.
Just the first part about, did you guys actually play any tabletop games?
It depends on specific employees, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Like a lot of people in quest design, for example, they do play them. I, for one, don't play them as much anymore. I used to play them a lot. So yeah, it depends on people, on specific people.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Enforcer.
Hi, got a question that you might not be able to answer, and I totally understand. Are you going to be taking the same quest design process through to Cyberpunk 2077? Because I'm really hanging out for that game.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. You know, definitely we want to keep the things that were good about it for Cyberpunk, and basically we don't want to change things that were working properly, so we will stick to the guidelines that were working. I think there are things that we could have done better, so we will adjust it, you know, to Cyberpunk requirements. Also, it's a completely different game, you know. It's an RPG as well, obviously, but it has, you know, totally different systems. We need to focus on making gameplay fun as well, like in different ways that sword fighting is. So I think we'll have to adjust, but like I said, we will try to keep all the good things that we did on The Witcher.
We've actually another one on this side.
Hello. Yep. I wanted to ask if there was a specific quest that did make it into the game, but you had a hell of a time actually putting it together. Like the most difficult quest, either through mechanics or story, the one you struggled with the most that still made it in.
Definitely, yeah. There are two quests that I recall that were very difficult in technical terms and design terms. First of them is the Bloody Baron, actually, quest. I mean, I don't know if you can tell right now, but it used to have like huge amount of bugs in this section with the botchling, and we struggled with the design for a long time as well. But overall, it was worth it, I'd say. And the second quest that was really, really difficult was Battle for Kaer Morhen. You know, I don't know, sorry if you all guys reached this part of the game, but it was very difficult from technical standpoint, because, you know, a lot of stuff happens there, a lot of systems are involved, we had to control a large amount of characters at once, and the game engine wasn't exactly done for such sequences. So we had to be very, you have to spend a lot of work on it to make it work. And very late on in the production, some people were still skeptical if we can pull it off, you know. There were some voices that we should change it to something else, like cut it or do something completely different. But again, I think it was worth keeping it.
Someone on this side.
Hi. About the Skellige Most Wanted. How did you go about fixing the bug for that?
Well, that's a tough one. Well, from what I heard, guys were fixing some bugs for it. I know that there is one pesky bug that they were trying to get rid of, but some people still have on their saves. I think they are looking into it right now. I don't know in which patch it will happen, unfortunately, so sorry.
All my questions were answered, so well done, team. Just wanted to make a comment. Masterclass in RPG design. I absolutely loved your game. And congratulations on the Golden Joystick Award for Game of the Year last year, so well done.
Thank you.
I know there is also a question right down here at the front, so I know you guys have got people up there, but when we can come down here. Just...
I know it would be better if everyone could hear the question. Yeah.
All right, so go this side. Although you've just been given a microphone back, so is there someone on?
Yeah, hi. Yeah,
Hi.
I'm right up the back, yeah.
Okay.
Hi,
Yeah, hi.
He's waving his phone so that we can
Yeah,
see him. He's
yeah.
really far away.
Yeah. So you guys have based your game off of the novel by, is it Andrei
Sapkowski.
Yeah, sorry, I can't say it properly. But did you guys collaborate with him a lot on a lot of the work that you guys put into the game? Did you guys say, look, we've got this character, are we going to kill him? Are we allowed to kill him, sort of like with Game of Thrones and stuff like that?
No, not, I mean, okay, so basically he was involved a little bit on the first game. From what I heard, not much. And he's not really into games in general, and he doesn't consider them canon. So basically he still feels that basically he has the rights to write continuation for all the plots that he left open. So basically, no, I mean, sometimes we consult with him if we can use something from the books, like some specific part of lore, and he never had any issues with it. He was fine with it. He's really, actually a really cool guy, you know, when you talk to him. But like I said, he holds on to his, rights, so to speak. So he can write the canon version of the Geralt's story, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't bother us really, because it's like in comic books, you also get many different universes that have things that are totally different, right? And it's fine as well. They're all canon in its own right, and that's how we approach this problem as well.
Yeah, cool. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
This young lady here next to the gentleman with the amazing beard.
Thanks for coming down to Australia. It's great to have you.
It's a pleasure.
For starters. I want to know more about you. How did you get to the point where you are in quest designing? I'm really interested in doing something similar, so it'd be great to hear your story.
Well, okay, so I started right after high school. I was looking for a job, and I checked different jobs, and they had openings at CD Projekt for QA. And basically my brother talked me into trying it, into applying, so I did. And I was really skeptical at first if I can make it, because I was always a crazy, fan of all computer games and all that, and I never believed that I actually could do something like this, but they hired me. I worked in QA for like a year or so. I was testing I was testing first the enhanced edition of The Witcher 1. Later on I was testing tools for the Witcher 2 engine for the designers. And basically I learned a lot about the tools from this experience. And I made it, I was vocal about it, that I would like to try doing actually something, like designing stuff, implementing and so on. I was playing a little bit with the tools as well. And at some point, our head of the studio proposed that I move to quest design. And basically from there, it was very gradual. I worked as a quest designer for The Witcher 2. As we finished the project, our former quest lead moved up, and basically there was a free slot for the lead quest designer, and they proposed the position to me. And that's how it looked like. If you want to start in game development, for sure QA is a good place to start. You get to meet a lot of people and learn a lot. Yeah, I recommend it.
We've probably got time for one more question after this one.
Thanks for your great talk. So I'm very curious about your principle of developing a good quest. I think every game designer has every principle, but could you tell me your ones? My question is, what is your what is the most important point you think when you develop a good quest?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so our base design principles for quest design for The Witcher 3 were no filler. So basically when we were designing side quests, we were trying to get rid of all FedEx, of all quests like bring me, I don't know, 10 bear pelts, like 20 feathers, stuff like this. Because, you know, I really believe this is something that we do not need in modern games, you know? This doesn't bring in any value. This is something that just fills the playtime, and we're better off without it, basically. And because we took this approach, it forced upon the designers that they have to, you know, spend more time in being creative with the ideas and coming up with something special for every quest. Because another principle we had connected to this one was that every quest, every side quest has to have something memorable, something that you will have fun with. It can be a system, some custom system. It can be some very memorable scene. It can be some funny dialogue, you know. Basically, every quest was supposed to have something like this. I'm not sure if we achieved it like 100% like we wanted, but this is something that we aimed for. And I think these things were the most important principles that made this game what it is right now.
And one last question. There is a dude here waving his hat. Oh, it's the guy who brought his Gwent box.
Hey.
Here.
So I wanted to know, when it comes to expansions, at the time of the design, are they stories that you wanted to implement in the main story but didn't get a chance, or were they always intended to be an after sort of thing?
It was planned as, I mean, we didn't have specific idea what the expansion will be like until 3 months before release of the game. That's when we started working on ideas for these expansions. We had some like very vague ideas, like Gone Through Dim, that made it into the base game because we got idea about this character very early on, but we didn't have a specific idea about the whole storyline about him. So basically, yeah, we knew that we want him in the expansion. We knew that we want to, you know, do some foreshadowing in the base game, but we didn't have the overall idea for the expansions at this point.
Cool, cheers.
And I know that there are still many questions that are dying to be asked. However, we do have plenty more other things going on. We've got the show floor, we've got other panels, we've got other bits and pieces, and Matt has to run off and do other things as well. So can we please give a big round of applause to Matt from CD Projekt Red?
Thank you guys, enjoy PAX, and have fun.